It's my profound hope that you're not the kind of person who holds long-term grudges, maybe not the short-term type. I'd love to hear that you look to see who folks are today and act accordingly. It is true that people can say and even act like they're one thing when they're actually another. It's also true you can often tell who somebody is by looking into their past. That shouldn't be an excuse to stop you from accepting someone else's reform or assuming they've been redeemed, though. Hello and welcome to the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of 2021, January 2021, Wednesday, the 27th of January of 2021. I've got Friday in my notes, so you can tell I could have easily messed that up today. Welcome to everybody who's listening on the podcast. Welcome also to those who are viewing me on Rumble and on YouTube. The subject of my little discussion today will be redemption. That is what we're talking about on the Daily Summation today. So the thing is this. You can look into my past, and you won't be able to quickly or easily find things that make me look bad. Okay? But let me make sure that you understand something. That doesn't mean those things were not there. What it means mostly is that people my age had a chance to mess up before everybody was able to train a camera on them and have a memory that lasted forever in their little mind, in the way things are recorded these days. So these days you do something stupid, you trip over something, or you make some misstatement or whatever, and somebody holds on to the video, and 6 years later you hear about the video coming out when somebody decides that they don't like you for one reason or another. When I was a kid, when I was a young man, that sort of thing didn't happen because there wasn't really an internet to do that with. And that doesn't mean there's nothing out there that's, quote, incriminating about me. The truth is most of my wrong, if you will, was not horribly wrong to begin with. There are some things that I'm not proud of in my past. I'll admit that. I'll acknowledge that. But my point is this. In the course of time, though I have not come to the place where I'm a perfect human being by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not trying to make you believe that that's the case or the truth, I like to think, become a better human being. Maybe not anywhere near where I'm going. Maybe not anywhere near what I'd like to think that I am even. I don't know. That's a good question. And I think as much as anything, that's something for other people to answer as much as it is for me. But the point that I'm making is pretty simple. The simple reality is I'm not perfect, never have been, probably was less perfect as I was younger than I've gotten as I've become older. And that does not imply or mean that I want to state that now as an older person I'm anywhere near perfect. That's just not how that works. It's not who people are, and it's not how that works. So here's the thing. I have heard many instances where people have been taken down, for example, if they had political aspirations or similar, by videos or other things that were 10, 15, 20 years old. And I think to myself, what, is the person not able to change? Do you honestly believe that that person can't change or hasn't changed in the course of their time? Because I'm here to tell you, I know I have. And I think you'd find that just about anybody that you ask would pretty much say the same thing if you think about it. I don't think anybody is the same person they were 10 years ago. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago, right? I grant you, as I've gotten older, the changes in certain regards have become less and less. In other regards, maybe things have moved along a little faster. Maybe I'm graying a little faster. Somebody pointed out my white/gray beard and tried to intimate that it might be a sign of my wisdom. I don't know if I'd say that, but I get what they're saying. And the point is that I'm definitely getting older, and hopefully in the course of time, I've gained wisdom and knowledge as a result. I bring all of this up because I believe that a lot of people have been trashed, have been smeared as a result of things that they've done in the distant past. And I think that if you really take the time to look at who those people are today, you're going to find perfection. Oh, wait, sorry, excuse me. No, of course you're not going to find perfection. But will you find a better person than the person who you saw from 10 years ago, from 15 years ago, from 20 years ago? is it possible that that person has changed, has become a better person as a result of what's happened in their lives and who they've been and what they've been through and so forth, right? Uh, I bring up periodically Saul of Tarsus out of the Bible, also known as Paul the Apostle later on, and Saul was considered to be a horrible human being in many regards, though he felt like he was doing the right thing even when he was in that state. But the point is, he was at least saying that it was cool that Christians were being stoned to death and holding people's cloaks while they did it, right? So it's certainly possible to look at Paul in the past and to say this was a horrible human being. But yet again, if you look at who he became in the course of time, he literally laid down his life, as far as we can tell, for Jesus Christ. Okay? There's no better way to put that. There's no other way to put that. And I think that you're going to find for a lot of people that it's a fair thing to say. So if you look at Donald Trump, it's a fair thing to say, regardless whether he's perfect, and he's not. Again, I'm not perfect, so I'm not really one to be able to throw stones in that regard to begin with. But regardless whether he's perfect, and he's not, it's pretty obvious what he set out to do and what he accomplished in the time that he was sitting in the office of the President of the United States. Now, I want to contrast this, okay? But I want to contrast it using the same sort of logic to what we've already seen of what Mr. Joe Biden has done in his scant time in office, and point out that when he was on the campaign trail, he made some very specific statements about things that he wasn't going to do, which he's already begun the process of doing. Now, some of the things he said he was going to do, and he's done them through executive order and other activities, various kinds of fiat, which, by the way, in my mind, in my opinion, is a bad thing. Okay, he should, if he wants those things done, they should be done legislatively and passed up through him, so that Congress has the say, because it's the individual people that are actually electing the Congress. And by the way, he's an executive, he's not a legislator. So as far as it goes, he should not be creating legislation through fiat. That's not how that's supposed to work. And I've said before, and I'll say again, that I think executive orders are a bad idea in many regards for that cause, if none other. I'm not saying that I don't believe executive orders should exist. I'm saying that I believe that they should be used for very specific purposes. Now, I've kind of wandered off the trail a little bit, but not really a lot, because my point is to say that even if Joe Biden had been a wonderful human being before, who he is today is something that, as somebody pointed out recently, a couple people pointed out recently, I can't remember if it was Drew Berquist or who, but pointed out that there are a lot of people who are suffering what amounts to buyer's remorse as a result of having voted for Joe Biden. In fact, I think I've heard a couple people, probably Dan Bongino has said it. It's possible Dinesh D'Souza has said it. In fact, I think maybe Dinesh was the first guy that I heard say that. But I think everybody agrees with that there are a bunch of people out there who, if I wanted to be a smart aleck, I could say something like, told you so, to those people. And of course, I'm not interested in that, and I don't think any of the people that I'm talking about are either. Our interest is to get you to realize what Joe Biden said he was going to be and what he actually is. And this is where this dovetails with the current subject of redemption, with reformation. Whatever I can say about Donald Trump, his agenda was basically what he said it was going to be. And maybe I can look at his past and see a guy who I wouldn't have thought would have been, quote, guilty of that agenda. Okay? Whatever I can say about Joe Biden, his agenda is not in large part what he said it would be. Kill fracking, tell people all the way along the line that you weren't going to do that, even though it's basically something that you pretty much immediately do when you get into office. Redemption is an important thing to allow for, though. Allowing for people to change is something that we have to do. And this is why I think the criminal system in the United States is broken to some degree as well, because it doesn't often allow for redemption until somebody's really been put through the ringer. All right, I'm basically out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and call it good. Again, today is Wednesday, the 27th of January 2021. That means tomorrow will be Thursday, the 28th of January of 2021, and I'm going to go ahead and try and get another daily summation out when that day clicks over. And I'm hoping that you are doing well. We're in the middle of the week, obviously, in terms of the work week, and I hope that those of you who are working that Monday to Friday grind are having a good week so far. I wanted to extend my appreciation yet again for all you people who are checking in on me. I'd love to see Rumble get my videos out a little faster, but I get that they have stuff going on, so they can do only what they can do. I'm seeing a few hits here and there on YouTube, but not really doing all that well. That having been said, I appreciate everyone who takes the time to look in on me, and particularly if you take the time to listen all the way through the video. Okay, so all of that having been said, hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Wednesday, the 27th of January of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.